So Azzy, how do you like the new skill?
Dude, I hate it! It's a freaking minigame! I would rather get 99 AFK in any skill rather than to work for it. No god in the world could convince me to train my Dungeoneering.
It looks like we have a non-believer in our hands. Send in the expert.
Where the hell is that music coming from?
Good day, non-believers. Quickly follow me. There is so much time and so little to do. Wait, let me try that again.
Good luck getting him to follow you. He's stubborn as shit.
Harley, help! He's making me follow him against my will!
Peace. Sucks to be you.
Getting there. Dungeoneering takes place on a mountain near the wilderness. This place is called Demonheim. For the first and only time to get to Demonheim the fast way, you will need to take a boat behind the Alkirich bank. Once you arrive, simply head to the center of the island to the temple. Once there, talk to the tutor to receive your Ring of Kinship. Ring of Kinship is your permanent transportation and access to Dungeoneering. Requirements. For Dungeoneering there's no requirements, but this skill requires overall good stats. For free to play, only up to tier 5 can be used, which is level 40 of any skill. Members are allowed to use up to tier 11, which are 99 of that skill. Also, this guide will be focusing mainly on member skills and strategies. For members, recommended stats are the following. Getting started. First time gameplay. Use your Ring of Kinship to activate the interface and create a party. The more people you have, the more experience you'll get. Select complexity 1 and enter the dungeon. You and your team will need to finish complexity 1 to 5 before you receive the real experience. Once inside, you will receive random weapons and armor for the first few complexities. Simply right click and bind a weapon and ammunition. Binding will be explained later in detail. Next, get some food off the table and proceed to the dungeon. Super Rushing Prestige Run. Super Rushing is to finish all the floors between complexity 1 to 3 within 5 minutes. How Super Rushing works is the following. Grab high tier food off the table, proceed through the dungeon, kill only monsters in guardian rooms, and do not fear death. Complexity 1 to 3 has no puzzles, so it's easy to finish. You're rewarded extra experience for completing complexity 1 to 5 for the first time. Each floor will advance to the next complexity automatically till you reach complexity 6. Complexity 6 is where you get the most experience from now on. At this point, you should leave the dungeon by using the Ring of Kinship and select a leave party and say yes. To leave completely, slide down the ice. At this point, you should reset your ring only once, and begin from floor 1 with complexity 6. This concludes the basic tutorial for the new Dungeoneers. Binding. As of this video, you're only allowed to bind one item at level 1, 2 at level 50, 3 at level 100, and 4 at 120. Also, you can bind one type of ammunition. This could be either runes or arrows. Your first bounded item must be a weapon that you can use. For melee, spears are the best, and mauls and two-handers are tied for number 2. Rangers can only use bows and no crossbows are allowed. Also, it's not recommended to use mage as your primary style to attack. When considering your weapon, choose one that you want to use for the rest of Dungeoneering. The process. In order to get the best melee weapon, you and your friends will need these following skills. In order to get the best ranged weapon, you and your friends will need the following skills. It isn't recommended to buy any mage weapons. Simply repeat complexity 1 to bind runes like Bloods or Deaths if you want them for vengeance or waves. Gameplay. Codenames. Outside and inside Dungeoneering, there are a few codes and vocabulary terms you must know. Getting ready. Once all basic preparations have been met, gaining Dungeoneering experience is easy and fun. First off, go to a popular Dungeoneering world. Good worlds are World 117 and World 2. Alternatively, you can use the forums to find teams or ask your friends. Starting a game and using the Ring of Kinship. In this case, I will show the leader's perspective. Simply enter a team yourself by clicking the Join Party button. Then right-click other players to invite them. Once you have your members, click the floor button. You'll see 5 columns, 1 for each member of your teammates. Floors are unchecked are floors that you haven't done, and floors with checks have been done. Always select complexity 6 unless you're doing a prestige run. Never select guide mode, as it is pointless and degrades your EXP gain. To enter the game, select the Dungeoneering entrance. You are given a confirmation on how many players you want to finish the dungeon. Having more players than the recommended gives you more experience, but you have to rely on everyone to finish the dungeon. If someone leaves, the chances of finishing are slim to none. Next, you will need to choose the floor size, small, medium, or large. Base experience from small to medium is 2 times, and from small to large is approximately 5 times. It is not recommended to do large maps for the lowest floors as it is not worth the time. Now for the breakdowns of the maps. Small maps last around 5 to 10 minutes and could last longer if the players don't know what they're doing. So in 1 hour you could get approximately 6 to 12 floors. EXP varies on the total prestige, which will be explained later. Each floor will gradually get more experience. In Dungeoneering, EXP per hour is not 100% sure, as there are a few variables that can affect EXP gain. Medium maps. Medium maps last around 10 to 15 minutes. However, it's not recommended in any circumstances to do medium. Large maps. Large maps takes around 45 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes, depending on your teammates and if you're rushing. You can finish in around an hour. Large maps are the only maps that have a defined EXP per hour, as it takes 1 hour to finish. At floor 35 large, it is approximately 55 to 60k an hour, assuming that you finish in 1 hour. Roles. In Dungeoneering, there's 2 important roles. These are the Keykeeper and the Toolkeeper. Everyone else is supposed to kill and listen to the teammates. Remember, if everyone helps, you will be able to finish faster. Game tactics. In small maps, getting armor and gatestone runes are not worth making. If everyone piles the monsters and the boss fast enough, you won't need food and no one has to die. In a large map, you must make gatestone runes at the beginning, as walking from one end of the dungeon to the other and will eat up your time very fast. Also, runes for curing poison or buying anti-poison is a must, as you don't want to lose HP from poison. When you have a full inventory of food or random stuff, it is time to place a gatestone on the floor and tele back to the base. Extra items should be placed in these areas. Never sell anything that will be important to you or your teammates. Never sell any herbs, as it can be used to open extra doors if needed. Never attack dinosaurs, as they are not monsters and are better hunted for their hides, if you have time to do so. Experience in Dungeoneering. This table appears at the end of each dungeon. Each floor has a base experience amount. This experience is increased or decreased by a few variables. Floors and Prestige. Sadly, not many players know about the simple concept of resetting your ring and about the floors. In Dungeoneering, floor 1 to 11 is frozen, 12 to 17 is abandoned 1, 18 to 29 is furnished, and 30 to 35 is abandoned 2. Jagger says there's new floors being added in the future, which we call warped and chaotic. Prestige works as a way to reward you more experience for the total amount of floors you have done. You don't need to know everything about it, all you have to know is the following simple step. Do all the floors you can, and then reset your ring once. Once you reset your ring, all floors will be unchecked and you get prestige for those floors again. You can only get prestige once per floor. Never reset your ring prematurely. Shared experience. Before you enter a dungeon, you must decide whether to have your EXP shared or on or off. When on, any experience from all players, including yourself, will be equally divided to anyone that has their shared experience on. If your shared experience is off, you will not receive any experience from other players, but they will still receive your experience. Peers and accounts that don't want to level certain skills should have EXP set to off.
You're almost out of time. Briefly cover the bosses, then move on.
Okay, sir, I'm on it. Conclusion. Road to 99 or 120. Basically, you always want to rush or super rush all the floors until you reach your last 5 to 7 floors. You should always do those last 7 on large maps. You should always have 5 people as you get more experience per floor. Also, this will balance your level mod for using the rushing method. You always want to attempt rushing. There is a reason it's called a raid. Also, be able to invest at least 1 hour to attempt a large map. Final tips. Playing a resizable helps with dungeons and certain bosses. If you disconnect, simply use your Ring of Kinship to re-enter and join your party. Do not discriminate over lower levels. If they have a high Dungeoneering level, you should let them try a game. Lastly, do not leech. People hate it when you don't do anything and get free experience. This concludes this Dungeoneering guide. So how are you feeling, my test subject?
I must train Dungeoneering.
Everything is going as planned. Soon all players will get 120 Dungeoneering. This is the best scheme you ever came up with, Mr. Mod MMG.
Excellent.